You guys got a
Hey,
theme song?
we do have a
Yeah.
theme song. You probably heard it in the intro there. Are we live?
Yeah, we are live. I point at
Hey,
the.
hello,
I
everybody.
literally point at the camera every time.
I never know if we're
You
live
never
with Twitch
know.
or not because I
Oh.
feel like there's always some kind of delay. Anyways, hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 16 of the Last Place Fire Team show. Today we have quite a show for you. There's not many news stories. There's more topics, and we also have a brand new guest with us, Fancy. Fancy, hello. Would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hello, I am introducing myself to you, viewers. And so is Mario. Mario's here to still dressed in his red overalls. He doesn't wear those anymore. But yeah, if you're interested, you can find me on the YouTubes. I'm MistareFusion, Mistare Fusion. And I'm here tonight to do whatever it is you guys normally do. I don't know. Help me, guide me through this. What's going on?
Oh, we
Well,
got.
just
we can't
wanna
guide
know
ourselves.
how have you been? What have you been up to lately?
Mostly making videos on my channel, and then just trying to adjust to quarantine domestic life. How to drywall, learn how to mow lawns, all that bougie stuff that normal people do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I feel that.
Sweet. Yeah, well, it's awesome to have you here today. It's always great to have a fresh take on our old opinions that don't mean anything. So speaking of old opinions that don't mean anything, Chris, how you been doing? What have you been doing this week?
And that's it for me, guys. I'm gonna exit the show. Thank you guys so much. I am doing all right. I just recently got back from Georgia for my brother-in-law's bachelor party, so disconnected from video. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. We played Rocket League a little bit in the cabin. But yeah, I went hiking, enjoyed myself. Got back, got disappointed that I did not get Mass Effect. So I haven't really been playing any games or anything like that.
You want to tell us real quick what happened with that whole affair?
So, all right. So I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but I decided I usually pre-order from GameStop. I know people's opinions on that. All right. I tried to get the game from Best Buy. I ordered it because they had a special like steelbook. I like steelbooks. I collect steelbooks, and they had a special steelbook that came with the game. Normally, because I've ordered a game from Amazon, normally they ship it out like 3 days before the release date. So whenever it gets to your house, it's on the release date so you can play with everybody else. So Friday was the release date for Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I get a package. I get a notification. Hey, your package is here. And I'm like, great. Right? I'm still in the mountains. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I get home, open the package, see the steelbook. I get so excited. Open the steelbook, and there was no disc. And I was like, what is this? And then I go in my yeah, it was just a box. So I open my Best Buy app to see like what's going on with my order. They shipped the game and the steel box completely separate. So the game just came in today, and they're both sitting on my table. And I was like, why? Why would you do that to me? So yeah,
It seems like a waste of
it's currently
everything.
downloading right now. Yeah, it makes no sense to me. Like, just put it in the
Just-
steelbook. Just put it in the
just go
steelbook.
It's like
digital.
Star Wars action figures in 1977, where they just shipped you the box first because they didn't have the figures made yet.
Oh, really?
That's,
Oh my
There's a
god.
big empty box campaign where kids would open just an empty box for Christmas with a voucher that says, "Here, your toys are going to come in March
Oh,
or
no.
something."
That's
Did it
pre-ordering before pre-order was a thing.
Yeah. Did it come in another box though, or was it just out of the box?
I don't know. I'm not that old.
All right, what about you, Alan? What have you been up to? How you been?
I also came back from vacation. I went to Texas to go meet my nephew, which was amazing. He loves me. But besides that, I've been, on the Apex grind, still playing Apex every day. I didn't get to play for 5 days, so I was really happy to be able to play it yesterday because that was the only thing I was thinking about for 5 days was playing Apex. So I rushed in, got the feels back. And I mean, I've been watching some movies and TV shows. I did watch the new Angelina Jolie movie, which was good.
Is that on HBO?
And it is on HBO Max. You got 30 days to watch it before it's only on movie theaters. So
Is that
go
movie
check
called?
it out. It's
think I've
called
seen it.
Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely worth a check out. Pretty unique like perspective of what's going on in that movie. Like I would say it's like something I haven't seen before, but it's definitely an interesting movie. It's worth watching. And I've been watching the show called Warrior, which if you like martial arts and that kind of stuff, please go watch that. That's on HBO Max. It's definitely worth a watch. I'm hooked. I'm already almost done with season 1 and I think I started like last week. But I would be finished if it wasn't for my brother who wanted to watch it with me that whole time. I would have just left him behind. But Warrior, go check it out.
So it's not a
pretty good.
warrior TV show like the gang movie.
No, 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 no.
Oh.
Which I mean,
Ultimate
but
Warrior?
Warrior, it does have the guy who played Sub Zero in it, and I think this is why they hired him because of this show because this show came out in 2018. So it's definitely worth a check out.
Nice. Well, I'm definitely jealous of you guys because it's always nice to just get away for a while and then come back to doing what you like. In this case, video games, because everything's just fresh. You're not raging over certain games because you're constantly playing it. So definitely jealous over that. Fancy, have you been watching anything that might be interesting or worth a mention or anything like that?
I've been finally earning my nerd cred and working my way through Doctor Who for the first time.
Ooh,
I saw,
I've yet
I
to see
saw
that.
that. I saw that.
I'll get to see that.
What
too.
season are you on?
I'm starting from the very beginning. I'm on the
Okay.
third Doctor right now. I got a few decades, several decades.
Yeah,
Go
you got
right
some. You got some
How
time
many
to go.
seasons are there of that thing? I know it's like been going on forever.
The original series had like 26 seasons before it was canceled. Then like the new series has had like 15, I think, something like that.
Yeah, it's
That
on
is
15
insane.
or 16. It's one of those.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, as for me,
That.
you what now?
There's this like add-on to Amazon Video called BritBox that has all these British shows. I had to pay an extra like $6 a month to add that onto
Oh.
Amazon Prime to watch Doctor Who.
Wow, that's
Oh,
messed
cool.
up.
I mean, at least it's available, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Right, yeah. As for me, I've been just working on my mouse stuff and I've just been playing Call of Duty. Unfortunately, it's my fallback. It's my one thing that I hate to love to hate on, really. But it's just an easy thing to do. I can pick it up and drop it in an instant. But other than that, I haven't been watching anything. I did watch this movie last night called Parallel, which was really cool, and it had to do with parallel universes. It was probably like I would say like a B movie, but the ideas are really really interesting. Super cool movie. It was on, I think, at Amazon Prime Video. So if you want to go down that science fiction rabbit hole, that was a very interesting and thought provoking movie. So with that being said, in case you guys didn't know, today marks our 4 months of doing the LPF show, 16 episodes, which is crazy because I feel like we just started this little venture maybe like yesterday. Yeah, but it dawned on me as soon as I was doing the show log that we've done 16 episodes, which is crazy. I've never been more consistent with anything in my life, So yeah, congrats to us, right? Good job,
Yeah,
guys. Good job, we
also,
did it. Consistently. Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, we also got our 200th podcast download. So another thing to celebrate.
Slowly but surely, we're getting there. That's we're putting in the hard work, and hopefully it'll pay off in the future. So before we get started with today's stories, topics, just do a little bit of housekeeping before we go on. Just so you guys know, we have met the conditions on YouTube for the mouse giveaway. We are just waiting on 2 people to follow us here on Twitch, and then after that, I will be putting out a video explaining to everybody how to enter to win the mouse. So all you got to do is make sure you're following us here on Twitch, because that's all we need. Just 2 more people. I'm sure some of you out there watching aren't following. You just don't remember hitting that follow button. But just also share with your friends. Let them know if they like this kind of stuff. Also, check out our latest YouTube video where Chris and I do a Warzone bounty off. It's a fun video to watch.
And the
you're into that
thumbnail's
sort of
great.
stuff.
I want
Thumbnail is
to
pretty great.
the future for that because it's gonna be a challenge series. So I want you guys to send if you have a challenge that you want us to do, whether it be me versus Yendi, me versus Alan versus Yendi, let us know. I also want to in the future be able to add like guests in like Chris's team versus Yendi's. Like I wanted to get like really crazy and out there and just start involving the community. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
For sure, yeah, definitely. As for this week's video, it's my turn. I haven't decided on an idea just yet, but I'm thinking about 3 different things right now. But the video will be out Friday, so keep an eye out for that. And then also, the last thing for housekeeping, if you or anybody you know would like to be a guest on the show, let us know. Reach out to us on Twitter or Gmail, lastplacefireteam@gmail.com. And we will gladly have you on. We'll talk about it and make sure we can have a good time here on Tuesday night. So, everybody, let's go ahead and start with our first topic of the show for the night. I'm going to start with Chris here. Chris,
Oh
can you
shoot!
please tell me? Are you not ready?
I'm pulling out my notes. I'm ready. I'm good to go.
You better be ready. You don't have a choice.
I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. What are your top 3 shows of all time? Let's start with that. This is a 2-part question.
Okay, top 3 shows of all time. This made me realize that I, to this day, just watch a lot of cartoons. So, top 3 shows. Number 1 is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Number 2 is Samurai Jack. And number 3 is Adventure Time.
Oh,
Samurai
Great
Jack, that's a
list.
good one.
Samurai Jack is
they're all
my
good. They're all good.
all-time favorite. I got to hang out with Phil Lamar whenever he came to Lakeland for like Lakeland had a con that nobody knew about, and he was there, and I was like, what? And I went, and there was nobody there, and I was like, sweet. So me and my buddy Manny just literally just talked to him the whole time. It was
he's
great.
super cool too.
Yeah, he was a very chill guy. Talked about when he was on Pulp Fiction and a couple of the other jobs he did, and we talked about season 5 of Samurai Jack and how much he thought that the show just should have kept going with like that kind of style.
Yeah,
But
it had the perfect.
yeah,
I had
It
no
did.
idea that he was a voice actor for that. I had no clue
yeah.
until I saw a video on YouTube somewhere showing. I'm like, oh, and he does other characters too, right?
He's another one that he's famous for is Hermes from Futurama. He's Hermes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But
He's
it was
voice
pretty
acting
cool
for
seeing him.
characters.
Like people were I remember people throwing challenges at him. So like he would mix like he's like do Hermes and Samurai Jack. So he did like Hermes as like like doing Samurai Jack. He did Dracula from Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Like that funny voice with another series. I think as Green Lantern because he's also Green Lantern. So there's a lot. He's done quite a bit. But he wants everybody to know that he was in Pulp Fiction every time. Like
Yeah.
he does bring it
Yeah.
up.
Okay,
Nice.
Yeah.
so now you can only keep one of those 3.
Eee. No.
I can only
The
pick
other
one.
the other 2 never existed. You can only
What?
pick one to keep in this universe.
Avatar. Oh, yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have to go with
Why? Why?
it helped me so much as a kid, man, and I recently rewatched it and it teaches a lot. That show makes me very emotional. Uncle Iroh is like I wish he was real. A lot of people wish he was real. It's so good, man. He's so great. Yeah, I have no problem
Yeah.
picking that one actually at all for that.
Yeah. That's definitely all 3 of your choices were pretty awesome for sure.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about Samurai Jack. but
Samurai Jack
yeah,
was
that show
like
so
Samurai
cool.
Jack just so reason why I picked Samurai Jack it's flashy, it's cool, it's funny in times, but that last season that they made was very intense, way different. It was very good. And then Adventure Time is kind of like up there with Last Airbender, just not as I guess not as sentimental. There was a lot of sentimental moments, but not as much as Last Airbender. So I had those same
Yeah.
moments in Adventure Time, but Adventure Time put a smile. I was consistently laughing, smiling. It made me really happy, and I'm kind of glad that they did the HBO Max series, which they have like hour episodes and stuff like that of like these side adventures and stuff like that. It's really cool. So yeah,
Nice. Good options. All right, let's head over to Fancy. What are your top 3 TV shows of all time?
Yeah, I didn't come into this knowing that I was gonna have to put 2 of them on the chopping block. This
I
is
know,
much-
right? Well, that's why he picked me first, because I was like, oh.
Oh, I don't want to put them out there now. I want to clutch them close to my bosom.
You got to.
Yeah.
You got to.
All right, I guess I'd say my first is Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Ooh.
Good
The
one. Good one.
one of the more underrated Star Trek shows, but I want to live on that space station. Want to hang out in Quark's bar and throw darts and shot up by a bunch of crazy Jemadar soldiers. I love it. Love it.
Oh wait, who's the captain in that show? What's the name?
Actor or the actor?
The character.
That's Benjamin Sisko.
I can't remember. There was one Star Trek series that I watched, and I was just so engrossed by it. And I thought, I'm like, this is crazy that it's just dialogue, and I am like into this full time right now. There's no visuals or anything. It's just them on a ship, and I can't stop watching. It's crazy. But anyways, yeah. Just so what else? What else do you have on your list?
My next one is a bit more esoteric for this kind of demographic. I love The Facts of Life. Is yeah, Alan knows. Alan's probably heard me go
Yep.
crazy about it. It's an '80s sitcom about life at an all-girls boarding school, and it's sort of like the Golden Girls before the Golden Girls was a thing, except with young people instead of old ladies.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I've seen this.
Fight and they squabble and stuff like that. And for Chris, since he loves Avatar, I love Avatar as well. If you wanted Uncle Iroh to be real, Mako, who voiced him, was on an episode of The Facts of Life once.
Really?
Small world. Look at that.
So real life Uncle Iroh right there, season 3.
So is your third show Avatar?
I do love Avatar. I don't want to have any repeats though, and I guess I kind of have to do this one by default. Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Oh,
okay,
true. Yeah. That makes sense.
So which 2 are you going to cut?
That's so hard.
Choose wisely.
But I guess just because it's what primarily pays my bills, I'm gonna have to keep Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Oh, really? I thought for sure you
I
would
wouldn't
go
be
Star
making
Trek.
a living right now if it wasn't for Dragon Ball, and I kind of like eating. So I'm gonna keep Dragon Ball.
So since we're talking about Dragon Ball, you no doubt can also admit that Dragon Ball Super is the best Dragon Ball series, right? It's the best Dragon Ball of all time, correct?
I'll answer that question. No.
Down on the ground.
Triggered. Just kidding.
You did that on
I think
purpose.
I think we know how you feel about Super. I think I watched one of your videos.
I hate Super.
Black Magic in the chat says, "Remove me from the show now."
Don't blame him.
Hey, listen. Okay, I loved Super. I'm sorry. I admit it.
Listen, I
but-
liked it too, and then I went and watched Fancy's video, and I was like, "Yeah, okay,
Yes.
I see what you're saying."
I'm like, why were all these points brought up? I didn't need to know
Yeah.
all this, and now I hate it. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, damn you,
Which video was that?
huh?
Video even was which video was
I don't
that?
even-
It's the.
uh,
hold on, it's been a minute
don't even
because I
know,
was in
but
the
you
middle
were
of
talking
watching
about-
it. Good.
Yeah, you were
I
giving your
probably-
thoughts on Super.
Tournament of Power, like
Yeah.
Probably around
More-
there. But I mostly watched
think
Super
so.
because I like Beerus became one of my favorite characters. I like Beerus a lot. And I kind of wish he was in the earlier Dragon Balls. So
Yeah.
if they just keep, I mean, I know they're making a movie or something. They made more news about it, but I just need them to maybe start over because you can't the level that they were at. I was just like in the tournament of power. I was like, okay, this is really overdoing it. Like you're really
Yeah.
doing a lot.
They're
So
only making a second
So,
movie because their Mad Demon Slayer took
We
over.
we
true.
may not all agree that the show itself is good, but we can probably all agree that that final song was pretty fire, pretty intense. It's a good song. It's a good song. You can't say no. Okay. Anyways, now that we established that Super is the best, Alan,
Oh
what
my god.
We
are
did not.
what are your top 3 shows of all time?
Oh, this is gonna be difficult. So, all right, I'm gonna go with Martin. I don't know if you guys
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Martin
so
is like
funny.
that is
Funny
one of the
show.
is the funny like it's one of my favorite shows of all time. Clearly, it's hilarious. Martin always made me laugh. It's also like a move like it's one of those shows that me and my family really connect on, and we reference that like daily. Like there's daily Martin references in our chats and stuff like that. So this is gonna be really hard to like I don't know which one I'm gonna take out, but Martin is up there, always funny. I can that's like my comfort show. Anytime I want to watch something to go to sleep or like, wake up and like boost my mood, I put on Martin.
Hmm.
Then, I mean, we have Avatar, The Last Airbender. I mean, like legit life changing. It's like, well, it was my first tattoo. So, like, another thing my family connects on. So, that show. And then number 3 is going to be Breaking Bad because I feel like Breaking Bad is like the best TV show of all time. In my opinion, everything about that show just works. It was so unique to the story itself was just a unique story we have never seen or heard of, and the acting and the execution of that show. And people will polarize the ending, but it was like that was the perfect ending for that show. So,
What did you think of
and
the
if you're not watching Better Call Saul, you should watch it because it's just as good.
what
Just
did you
saying.
think of the movie that came out with that was
It
like
was
not
good, too.
attached but like
Yeah, the Jesse movie with Jesse in it.
uh,
Yeah, it's good too.
cuz
Everything they've done to me has been that whole like universe, that whole world. Because I remember I was worried about Better Call Saul, and it did exactly what Breaking Bad did. Like the first season, you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and then season 2, they're just like, yo, this is the show, and it hits a lot of in a very different way, hits a lot of the emotions that Breaking Bad did. So yeah, those are my
Yeah.
3. If I
You know
had
what
to
you gotta
take
do.
away, I I feel like I have to keep Avatar because I
Do it.
feel like that was the most like that literally I feel like changed me in more ways than any other show. Like I feel like, I became very like meditative and like a lot of things because of that show, and like a lot of just life-changing things happened after that show and during that show, and that show was like the perfect coping mechanism during that time. So I'm gonna have to keep Avatar.
Nice, nice,
did you
nice. Okay,
did any of y'all have any runner-ups before
Oh, I
Andy
can
gets
name
this?
shows for days.
Me
Well, I mean, like, were you going through the list and did you have one there you're like, oh, like you were about to put it on, but
I
didn't?
mean, there's so many. I feel like what else do I mean, a Batman the animated series could easily be
that was
like
one on my list. Yeah, I was
yeah,
like,
that
okay,
could easily be up there for me.
yep.
Clone
Firefly.
War could be up there for
Firefly.
Firefly,
Oh yeah,
another one for
that's a
me.
good one. I almost put Dexter and Clone Wars, but Clone Wars I immediately like pushed to the side. I was like, wait, no, that
No,
it was cool
Clone
to
Wars
watch,
for
but it
me
was
is
like, okay.
I can put I mean Samurai Jack's another one. I mean Dragon Ball Z just cuz of I would say just because of the impact of what it had for me as an anime like that was my introduction to anime, so like and now like I just love anime. I mean Food Wars could have went up there too for me cuz
Yeah.
that's my favorite anime.
Demon
so.
Slayer, but I feel like that has to age. That have
No,
to
no,
age
it
a little,
hasn't,
just
and
a
not
little
yet,
bit.
not yet. Demon Slayer 2,
What,
just one
what
season.
about
Ah,
Whoa,
where'd you
whoa.
I'm
go?
gone.
Where'd you go? Come back,
I'm
baby,
coming
come
back.
For our audio viewers,
Well,
Alan went into the deep abyss.
Well,
I think I
in the
hit a plug.
meantime, Fancy, do you have any runner-ups to your shows?
You said
I think I said
Firefly.
Firefly might be one. The original Star Trek. It's always hard for me to choose between Deep Space Nine and Captain Kirk. Star Trek. I was turning around, swiveling around to see if I could see any shows on my shelf that I didn't think about. Uh, uh, uh,
No. Okay. All right. Well,
Brady
let's see.
Bunch,
For
I
me,
guess.
pretty much. Hey, you know, it's a good one. For me, my top three are Avatar again as well.
Wow.
Yeah, man. So with Avatar, it was weird because I was at my girlfriend at the time's house, and she had a little brother who just happened to be watching it on Nickelodeon, and I just sat on the couch next to him and started watching it, and I found myself super engrossed. I'm like, wait a second, these people are like giving me life lessons right now, and I don't know how to take this. so, so I started.
Yes.
What we got there? Nice.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
same thing, and I got the Legend of Korra series too. Sitting there.
So I went home later and I
Yes.
looked it up and I watched it like and I could not stop watching it. It was so every episode was so good, and every episode I swear I had some kind of message or something, some kind of life lesson like you guys had said. And it's just such an emotional show. It was probably the first cartoon that actually had me like emotionally involved, which is really rare for me. Even though I did watch cartoons often, this one did did more for me emotionally. And oh, here we go. Look at that. That's badass. Badass. Yeah. So yeah, like obviously Avatar is huge for a lot of people, and it was pretty big for me as well. It was such a great time, just sitting there watching it by myself or with Avery now that she's watched it as well, and she loved it too. Which it's awesome to think. My number two is Band of Brothers, which is a World War II thing. Anything World War II or World War One, I absolutely love. I'll consume anything pretty much. Saving Private Ryan is one of my favorite movies. I just love the setting and the weapons, the costumes, just everything about it. So Band of Brothers was such an awesome show, and I think that one was made by Steven Spielberg, I believe, unless that was The Pacific, which is also another good series. But yeah, great characters, super super awesome. I felt everything they felt in the show, and I felt like I was there too. The setting was so cool. Costumes were great, spot on. Everything's perfect about that show to me. And my number three is Lost. Lost was probably okay. I I was on the fence about the ending, and I won't say what it was. But after a while, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, and I had my own interpretation of it. But the first season of Lost was probably like the biggest show in TV at the time, I would say, right? It was huge. J.J. Abrams, I think, was just starting out. I want to say at that time, it's a long time ago, but there was always a mystery to every episode, and there were so many characters. I don't know how they developed that many characters and made me care about them. So that was great too. I always had something to look forward to every week and a new story to learn about because they would do flashbacks to the characters. So yeah, Avatar, Band of Brothers, and Lost. And if I had keep just one, oh, it would have to be Avatar as well because
You hear
just
it first here, man.
mostly
LPF.
mostly because of how it took how much it surprised me that one, I learned something from it. I was addicted to it. I couldn't stop watching. The story was so good. Characters were awesome. The life lessons, everything, man. I To this day I'm shocked. So yeah, Avatar. Sure, as pretty much everybody here also had on their list. I know it wasn't one of yours, Fancy, but it was up there, right? So
Definitely up there. I watch
yeah,
it at least once a year. I watched it this past summer. I'm probably gonna watch it again soon.
yeah,
I love that
yeah.
show. I still get misty at the end of book 2, The Crossroads of Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold a
Me, I don't
candlelight to
get
the
misty. I
movie
cry.
though, so
What
we'll
did
go
you
from
say?
there. It doesn't hold a candlelight to the movie, the M
What
Night
movie?
Shyamalan movies.
What movie?
How do I kick this kid?
I'm just
There's
kidding.
a movie?
I've never seen it. I was told not to watch it, so I'm not gonna watch
Same.
it. So,
There's a movie?
there's a movie. I know you block it out, but there is, man.
I mean, my dog's name
Yeah,
is
no.
Korra, so just for that reason. And every time somebody meets her, they're like Legends of Korra.
Hey.
I was like, yes.
Awesome name for
I have
dog
a
for
friend
sure.
whose cat's name is Rava. So.
Oh.
Nice. Okay, let's go on to topic number 2. So we'll start with Alan on this one. Alan, you have a chance to remaster an older game console. Which one do you choose, and would you change anything about it?
Come on. So, I mean, if I could remaster one console, it would be the Dreamcast. I mean,
Figured.
it's just
Figured.
all the games that I want on the Dreamcast need to be remastered, and they haven't been because Sega is toying with me. In the world of remasters that we're having now, you would think, hey, let's just remaster all of our titles. Jet Set Radio, let's get that back. Crazy Taxi, why not? Power Stone, nope. We just don't get any of them.
No, man, they're gonna go
I
in there. They go in. If you go into Sega right now, they're all sitting in the conference room. They still, to this day, will sit in that conference room, and they have Sonic on the board, and they say, "How do we make this work? Please."
we've got enough Sonic games. I go
That's
back
what
and
I'm
play
saying.
Sonic games.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
need any more. Okay, I don't need any more. I'm actually content with the amount of Sonic games. There's only so much you can do with Sonic, and I feel like we've done it all. So let's get remakes to those amazing games. Shenmue, because Shenmue 3 was awful. So like, let's just get a remasters to all of those games. That would be the console I would do in a heartbeat, no questions asked.
So, what would you change anything about the console itself?
I mean, besides making it more modern, obviously I'd have it have the internet connections, like an Ethernet cable in the back, because the old one had dial-up, so it was an old,
Jeez.
phone line connection. So I'd like, put some Wi-Fi on it. I would actually keep the controller base the way that it is with, if you have a wireless dongle, then go ahead. But probably add Bluetooth just for convenience. But I do like the four controllers in the front just because it's the best when it feels local. And I mean, in my head, it just feels it keeps that nostalgia. I would obviously keep the memory card because that's one of my favorite parts of the Dreamcast was the little VMU memory
I miss memory
cards.
cards in general, man.
I don't miss memory cards. I
I
just miss
do.
those memory cards. Because I mean, we technically have memory cards now. You could just put a little flash drive on your
Yeah.
thing and then transfer it over. So I don't miss those. I just miss because that was such a unique design and things like that. I would obviously make it not able to burn disc and put it onto your thing so people can get games for free. But besides that, I think I would keep the console the same. Besides a couple of modern changes, to be honest.
You wouldn't change that
Nice.
controller at all.
I like the Dreamcast controller, but the thing is, you see, when you go to remaster, like obviously I feel like the Xbox controller is the best controller. So, but like when you play those games, like my muscle memory is so used to those, like to the way that it was. So for me personally, I wouldn't change the controller because I'm used to it. Now, if someone wants to go get a off-brand Sega controller that fits like an Xbox or a PlayStation, be my guest. But for me personally, I like those old controllers because my muscle memory is just used to them, which is why I still use a GameCube controller for Smash
Mhm.
Brothers because I just my fingers and my muscles are just used to that. So
Yeah, for sure. I bet the Dreamcast is on a lot of people's list for sure.
Mm.
Let's go to you, Fancy. Which one would you remaster? What would you change about it?
So I need to ask because I think I might have misunderstood this when I was reading the notes. Are we talking about like remastering the library of games from a console, or the console like the hardware itself?
The hardware and everything along with it would be remastered. So
Okay.
it'd be brought back to life,
Like a
essentially.
2.0, and then the games would be
Yeah.
get Oh, okay, okay, yeah, okay.
that's how I took it.
Yeah, I think I kind of had it.
I think first off, I'll just say that, like in general, I'm not a huge remastering fan to begin with. I like to just sort of go back and see exactly how it was. I played Metroid for the first time last year, and I drew my own maps.
I saw
Oh,
those. I remember you
snap.
showing. Nice.
But if I had to choose one, I think I would choose Nintendo 64.
That's
Good
a
one.
That is
choice.
A lot of
really
good
good.
games. And what do you think about the controller though? That was a very divisive.
I love the controller. I figured you were going to ask that. But I love that controller. I would not change anything about the layout. I think I would modernize the analog stick. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
But I think the controller is pretty comfortable as it is. It's designed to not be necessary to hold all three positions.
Prongs or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
But the stick wears out.
Yeah.
easily. And a lot of my
Pretty-
controllers are kind of loose, and I've had to sort of repair them over the years. So,
Yeah.
one that's a bit more up to modern specs, I would appreciate that. Um, in terms of the games themselves, I feel like we're getting to the point where a lot of those games are being remastered right now, or have been. I mean, it's been 10 years since Ocarina of Time 3D came out, which I've still never played. But and Mario 64 DS is like 15 years old at this point.
Yeah.
So
And
something
still the same price. I said, and still the same price.
Yeah, they never go on sale. Damn it, Nintendo.
I mean, they're definitely, if I were to just get a second chance at having those games like be the centerpiece of the gaming world, I would definitely, because I had so many great memories playing Super Smash Brothers with friends and Mario Party, and it was and like playing Ocarina of Time for the first time and running upstairs to my upstairs neighbor to say that I became an adult. It was cool.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was the first person in my apartment complex to get that far in the game.
Nice. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, that's obviously another good choice. A lot of good games, and one of the first consoles to like really have a lot of 3D games too. Because before that was what was the PlayStation 1 out then?
PlayStation 1 was
Yeah,
out.
that
That was
was
the
Year or two.
Yeah.
that was the rival. I mean, those were the two rivals when
Yeah.
those came out, and we got
Heavy
Crash
hitters for
Bandicoot.
sure. Yeah. We'll go with me and then over to Chris. For me, I would love to remaster the Game Boy Micro. So I put some notes. I would keep the body the same size, right? Same size, but I would make the entire front a screen, and then it would be completely digital, so you can get full access to the Nintendo eShop there and play essentially any game. It would probably have the same power as probably a well, it was a different version of the Game Boy Advance. So
Yeah.
I don't think you could fit everything that the Switch has because it's just not possible with that footprint. But I guess it would be an updated Game Boy Micro to today's standards. Basically, it'd be a phone which would have Nintendo exclusive games you can only play on it, and you'd be able to play most games that were compatible with the Game Boy Advance at the time, but on a brand new screen, very colorful, bright, and it could fit in your pocket, and people would never know what the heck it is. So, yeah, mine is definitely the Game Boy Micro.
Did you add backwards compatibility to it since the micro couldn't play old Game Boy games
Yeah.
like
Yes.
other GPUs?
Yes, I would make it completely backwards compatible. Even though I have a thing against playing older games, I'm more for the future is now. But yeah, something like that. If I have to remaster it, it would have to have a big library of games for sure to be successful. Yeah, Game Boy Micro. Chris, what do you got?
Probably the GameCube. Whenever I got a GameCube, I just didn't have enough time with it. It was already too late. Like everybody was moving on, and I was like, oh, okay. So I moved on with everybody else. What came after GameCube was GameCube out the same time as PS2, or was that after?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the same
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah, so I ended up getting a PlayStation 2, and then I played GameCube a lot at my friend's house. We played Mario Party like crazy. We played all those games quite a bit as Alan's on the GameCube controller. I wouldn't change anything about it. I liked being able to, like, I remember it's easy to pack up. You know, you have the little handle on the back. You took it with you.
Yeah, it
Good
was.
to
It
go.
was so convenient.
Yeah, I like the. There you go.
Hey.
And I like the discs. I like how small the discs are, and yeah, I love it. I love it.
They
It's
can get
such a
lost
good.
easily.
Yeah,
I lost Animal
exactly.
Crossing because it was so tiny.
Oh man, they're great. They're great.
You can pop the disc out with on the console
Yeah.
rather than pull it off.
Yeah.
Push the button.
So cool.
So
Cool
good.
stuff, man.
And then
And
like
yeah.
I remember I remember the first time I found out that if you held the Z button, it would change the sound to like the squeaky toy, and then if you had 4 players and held it, it was a samurai sound. It was great, man. I love that console a lot. I still hook mine up every from time to time. With a little modded chip on the back that allows me to plug HDMI in so I can actually play those games. But yeah, I would like a whole remaster of those games. Obviously, if you guys go back on our YouTube channel and you see the Nintendo Direct. I was very disappointed about Wind Waker not being remastered again for the Switch. So
My
yeah,
favorite Zelda.
yeah, but I wouldn't mind like I would play that game on a GameCube controller. So if it ever does happen, that's what I'm probably gonna go and do. So
Nice, yeah.
yeah.
Good choice too, man. Lots of great consoles.
Yeah, I tried to go back and
All
play
right.
that one actually, and it was actually dark. There was a lot of shadows going around.
Huh.
Like it looked dark. It was weird. I don't know. I don't know if it was my game or. But
Weird.
anyway.
All right. It is now time for the trivia of the night.
Oh, I thought you said there was no
Everybody?
trivia.
No, there is trivia. Oh, there's trivia tonight. Just so you know, Fancy, the rules are no Google searching, no asking your Google anything. This is straight up, just straight from the head. You will have 30 seconds. I will ask 6 questions, and you have 30 seconds to answer each one. You have to let me finish asking the question, and then I will look and see who raises their hand first, and that person will get a chance to answer. So, pretty straightforward. So, are we ready? We're going to go with question number 1. This one's worth 5 points. Okay. What was the last major game console to use game cartridges as its primary storage format? A. Sega Genesis. B. Nintendo 64. C. GameCube. Or D. Game Boy Color. Alan had your hand up first. Go ahead.
N64.
Correct. Woo!
Game cartridges. Okay, like a full car. Okay.
That's the last major console. Yep. Okay. Question number 2. This one's worth 4 points. What are the names of Superman's human parents? Is it A. Jonathan and Martha? B. James and Patricia? C. Douglas and Betty? Or D. Carl and Janine? Fancy?
Jonathan and Martha.
That's right.
I'm not gonna lie. All I listened out for was Martha. That was it. I had no idea what the hell.
You should have added Martha and multiple ones because of BVS. You should.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Question number 3 is a 2-part question. It's worth 6 points. If you get the first half right, you get 3. Okay. How many of Snow White's 7 dwarves have names ending in the letter Y, and what are their names?
Y'all can have that one. They're literally naming.
Go ahead, Fancy.
2?
Huh?
2?
2?
Happy.
Yeah.
No.
Ooh.
Do you want to know? You want a chance at saying their names?
I did.
You
Hear
said
me?
their names? No, I didn't hear
Happy-
you. You must...
Happy and sneezy.
Happy and sneak.
Okay, Alan, do you have a? You want to take a shot?
It's 3, and the one I think Fancy was missing was Dopey.
You were both incorrect. There are 5.
Oh, okay.
There are 5,
Never
and their
mind.
names are Dopey, Grumpy, Sneezy, Sleepy, and Happy.
Grumpy. Why? How did I miss Grumpy? They have so many Disney products just based off of Grumpy. Like,
Okay, here we go. This is the jackpot right here. This one's worth 10 points. It is also a 2-part question. If you get the first part right, you get 5 points. Simon was an electronic game that became popular in the 80s. Question 1. How many buttons were there, and what were their colors starting at the top right?
What? Oh, okay. So the Simon logo. Gotcha. Okay, so there was 4 buttons,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go. You said starting from the top right.
Top right clockwise.
Okay. Blue, red, red. What would that be? I don't know. Top right is blue. I know left is yellow. I can't think of the other 2. Red, and then the last guy. I'm gonna say orange. on the bottom left.
All right, I'll give you the 4 points. Sorry, yeah, the 5 points for having the correct number of buttons. So let me give you those. But the colors were incorrect. Anybody else want to take a chance? Fancy?
All right, starting from the top right. Red, green, blue, yellow.
Yeah.
Nope.
Alan,
you
none
wanna
of that in
take
that
a shot?
order.
Nope.
To be fair, nobody looks at the Simon logo and is like, I have it right side up. You're just looking at the buttons.
That side was worth 10 points. It was pretty popular. You should know. You should know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Red, blue, and then swap Fancy's last two.
What did they say? What is?
I don't even know what I said.
I don't know.
You got to give me the right
Green.
answers.
Yellow?
Incorrect. It is red, blue, yellow, and green.
Red, blue,
What?
yellow, green. Oh, yellow's on the bottom. I was so stuck on like, I know I have yellow right. That's all I thought about. I was like, yellow's top left.
All right. Okay. So question number 5. This one should be pretty simple. So get those hands ready. In this popular 80s song, what was Jenny's phone number? Alan.
Dang it.
8675309.
Incorrect. I'm just kidding. You got it.
Oh, I was about to say, I was like, what?
I was gonna say what?
Okay. Here we go. Last question is worth 2 points.
How much was that question worth? One?
Just one. Just
Okay,
one.
cool.
What animal is Indiana Jones deathly afraid of?
Damn
Fancy.
it.
Thanks.
That's right. Boom. That's 2 points.
He's deathly
Fancy.
afraid of him? Like he stops in
Yeah.
his tracks? I don't remember that.
I believe Fancy is our new guest leader in points.
Oh, guess I was like, I can't be in the lead in this episode.
Yeah, you are. You are. Nice. We will figure out the prizes for that later. But anyways, that was it for the trivia. Thank you everybody for joining if you're just coming in for that.
What are the points looking like, man? Between me and
Okay,
Alan?
so right now we have Chris with 5, 10, 15, 16, 17 points.
Okay.
You are wrecking it. Alan has 10 and Fancy has 6. That is the most for a guest so far.
I'm trying hard this whole month, yo.
Yeah, Alan's gonna come up though. I could tell. I think he's losing on purpose.
It's my birth month.
Anyways,
What?
so with the trivia out of the way, let's move on to topic number 3 for the show. So you got Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. And just like the last question we had, one of these has to go along with their consoles and games as if they never existed. Which one goes, and what game/consoles would you miss the most? Alan.
I hate this because, like, I feel like there's only one answer.
I feel
and it's not answer. I don't want to say the answer.
I
Yeah,
already
yeah,
know
yeah.
what all 3 of you are going to say.
No,
and
you're not.
it's very predictable.
Go ahead.
It's
Go ahead.
gonna
And,
hurt.
hold on. Go ahead and predict real quick before.
I predict that all 3 of you are going to say that Microsoft has to go.
I think that's
Okay.
fair.
Yeah. All right.
You see, here's the thing, though, right?
Go ahead, Alan. Yeah, go ahead.
The only reason why I would say, and I love Microsoft. Everyone knows.
Oh wait, hold on,
The
Alan, real quick.
problem-
Black Magic said I thought they were supposed to lose points for wrong answers. You did say that last. You did mention it actually in the show
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
We decided against it because it would be.
No one would want to answer the question. 'cause they don't wanna lose
Yeah.
points.
Nobody would answer. So, but anyway, continue, Alan. Sorry.
Yeah, the only reason why it's Microsoft is because you can't take away, because it is the newest of the consoles, and I feel like it won't be your answer. I feel like it's not going to be your answer, Yendi, because you want to move forward. So I don't think you're going to pick Nintendo, but I just feel like for me personally, I feel like my most memories are with the other 2 consoles. So like I can't take away Mario 3. That's one of my favorite games of all time. Like I just, you know what I mean? Like I can deal without Halo, which is okay. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That like, but I can't deal without Crash Bandicoot, Last of Us being again one of my top 5 games, God of War being one of my top 5 games, and then you have the whole Nintendo catalog. Like those are like so essential to gaming. to me personally, I just feel like you cannot take away Nintendo. At least, like Nintendo for sure, it would. The only two choices would have been Sony and Microsoft, but Sony just has the games that you like. I've connected with for longer than Microsoft has, and Microsoft hasn't had that. Like, yeah, I'd miss Gears of War, and yes, I would miss Fables, my time with that and stuff like that. But besides those two games, like and Halo, like it's just it doesn't have the same power that the other two companies have over me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good choice. Fancy. What about you?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. You're right, Microsoft. No hesitancy, no question. I don't care about Xbox. I never have. I haven't. I don't think I've played a Microsoft console in like 15 years. I certainly have memories of being a teenager and being at my friends' houses and being forced to play Halo with them and sucking horribly. I'm really bad at first-person shooters, and I would just get a headache and I would get nauseous, and I would be like, I hate doing this. So yeah, I would keep Sony because I've only ever owned one Sony console, which is a PS2, but I loved all the Final Fantasy games at the time, so I had to do that then. Other than that, I've mostly been a Nintendo person, but I still definitely have enough love for Sony that I would not want to get rid of it. Microsoft, it's barely a blip on my radar. They've never done anything that's interested me in the slightest.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Was there anything that you would miss about either the console or a game or something that they offer, or no?
It's an interesting controller. The original Xbox controller was
The Duke.
Yeah.
The Duke.
fun to make fun of, I guess. And,
Yeah. Okay.
it's a nice looking design. I guess that's about it. I don't know if I could name any Xbox exclusive games besides Halo. I don't even know if that's exclusive anymore.
No,
You could probably argue that the Xbox controller led to the redesign of the PS5 controller that we have now, if you think about it. So who knows?
Sure.
All right. So Chris, let's go to Chris.
Like
Let's go ahead. What do you think? Which one would you
Nintendo.
kill?
No, I'm
He's
kidding.
lying.
Yeah, it's Microsoft. It's Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft. Whenever I read this question, I immediately thought of Sly Cooper, because Sly Cooper was one of my favorite games as a kid. It was heavy rotation. Just before the show, I just beat Jak and Daxter 2. So like I'm still going through those games. Ratchet and Clank. I can't give those up, man. They just have too many good exclusives that I hooked onto. I mean, like, can you imagine a world without Uncharted? Come on now.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I love Halo a lot, but there was so much more on Sony that outweighs Microsoft. And also with Nintendo, like what is it, Breath of the Wild? Like, I'm thinking of Breath of the Wild right now. I know like as newer games that I can't put down. I can't give away my Pokemon Snap, like, come on. The thing I would miss from Microsoft, which I thought Alan was gonna say something. I would miss the Xbox 360, and I would miss Halo, and then also I would miss Game Pass, because I feel like if it was just Sony, like, it's not, you're gonna be spending a lot more money on games than with Microsoft. So that was the only issue that I thought of. I was just like, okay, Microsoft kind of helps me spend a lot less on video games. So
I mean, to back up what you're saying too, like my thing is more so like I said, the nostalgia factor, because like if we took it like right now and like this generation, then I would pick Microsoft. But it's just so hard to be like, I'm getting rid of the whole Sony library. Like I can't do that. And Nintendo, I just literally cannot do it. Can't.
I should add, I don't have anything against Microsoft or Xbox or anything like that. I just don't really have any attachment to it one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's far removed from anything that I do or play, that I just don't really think about it. So I don't really have anything to grab onto. I don't have like this sort of anger or hate towards Microsoft or Xbox. It just kind of exists. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Something you would never probably know about unless somebody told you. So as for me, so this was actually a really hard question for me, even though I'm the one who came up with it. Like, why did I do this? So
Hold
I
on, pause,
really,
pause. Viewers, please,
yeah,
viewers and audio listeners, please get ready for something
He
very out of the park. All
he
right.
is
Okay.
not
He
Nintendo.
he parked at the wrong baseball field. He's gone. He's like on the other side of town. All right, just be
There's
ready
no
for it. Here we go. And the subscribers go
Okay.
down. Here we go. Let's go.
So I really, really wanted to say Nintendo for this, mostly
Yeah.
because I hate the fact that they're just stuck in their old ways. And you know how I feel about Nintendo if you watch my video. They need new stuff. With that being said, I will say that I do agree with everybody else in
Okay.
saying that Microsoft would be the one to go. While
All right.
Halo had a huge impact in my gaming habits, and you know, it it it, it paved the way for what I play now, mostly for what I enjoy. It helped me get there. It was the first time I played online with the Xbox Live, which is super cool idea at the time. Uh, I think based on gaming hours alone, Halo is probably top five, I would say. So lots of great moments there, but just like the same reasons you guys had, there's just not a lot there. Besides the Halo franchise, there's not much there that would keep me in the ecosystem anymore if I had to give one up. Nintendo has Pokemon, which probably my number one in terms of hours played and just fond memories. Sony has Uncharted, which is just a better Tomb Raider. Subjectively, um, it's just there's not much there for Microsoft besides the Game Pass and I would miss the 360 era. That whole era was awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
Lots of great games. That console was just awesome. It kicked ass. Besides the Red Rings of Death issue that it had, and yeah, obviously I would miss the Halo franchise, but I would have to keep. As much as it hurts to say it, I would have to keep Nintendo and Sony and get rid of Microsoft just because.
Aha, I told you.
So,
You couldn't do it.
I really wanted to say Nintendo. I really did because, as you guys know, I am a Nintendo hater. I am older now, so as you get older, you start hating things more, and things start to
Not
annoy you
true.
more. And
That's just happening to
I've
you.
realized I sometimes I sit here, I'm like, man, I need to stop being such a hater on everything. Like I'm turning into an old man that I said I would never be, you know. But
Yeah.
to me, Nintendo is the cloud at in the sky that I yell at, you know. So
The third youngest person in this
the
this
third,
circle.
yeah, I'll be 33 this year.
I'm the
No, he's
youngest.
older. He's older than me.
Not by
I-
much.
You were a
Not by
little-
much.
Yeah,
He's only. It's only a month, right? June, 2 months.
I'm in July. Yeah.
July, in 1 month.
Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
second
2 weeks.
oldest. You can be an old person, sure. I guess.
I see myself. I'm like, why? Why am I like this right now? Like I used to
Yeah.
never be like this.
I turn 27 next week.
27.
Yeah.
It's a baby.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So let's see here. Oh man, this thing went by quick. So, our next question. This was a TikTok that I had on our LPF TikTok. So go check us out there. We are Last Place Fire Team on there. And I posed this question. So we all know that console games are very expensive nowadays. The new generation is at $70 per game, which is crazy. So that's up $10 from the last gen, the ones we're used to. So my question is, would you accept subsidized games at half the price or less, but at the cost of having live ads in your game? So, for example, say you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5 and you're driving around, and normally the billboard you would see, instead of being something that's static and doesn't change, it is the literal ad that you would see in the real world, and it would change, and it would be like a Pepsi ad, for example, or a vape ad or something. Would you also okay? So it would also be in loading screens. So when you hit pause, you would see an ad, right? When you're in the settings, you would see an ad. Pretty much anywhere there's a chance for an ad to play, an ad would play. Would you take this, or would you rather keep paying full price for your games? Fancy.
Well, I guess I have to ask a question in relation to this. what happens like 20 years from now? Like, is the game still playing ads? Like, is it still
Yeah,
newer ads? Or does the system
well,
shut down eventually? It's just like,
since
yeah, whatever, we're done with this crap.
seeing as most games nowadays are live service games and they can be updated like that, this would be an ever revolving thing that would never be outdated. So
See,
the
I'm
ads would
thinking
always be kept updated.
I'm thinking along the lines of like, say it's gonna pop up in my chat. So let me try to think of something. Say it's something. So I'm looking for something Oculus Rift related, okay? Because I know as soon as I said that word, that when I go on Facebook after the show and check my Facebook, I'm gonna get an Oculus ad. All right.
Yep.
So like that's what I'm thinking along the lines of like they just like as soon as they somehow know your what you looked on Amazon or anything like that, and you start seeing those ads for yourself in those games.
No, well, no, they would be
That's what I was
self-contained in the
thinking.
games. They would be taken care of, created by the developers or
Oh, okay.
their marketing team, right?
Gotcha.
So they wouldn't know, they wouldn't hear you as we know it happens, but they would be curated, and you would get served ads. It could be depending on your playstyle or your location. But anyways, would you want subsidized
I
games?
it could fit for certain games like Grand Theft Auto, like you said. Although I guess if you're playing like Vice City, it'd be kind of weird if you're having like an ad for a PlayStation 5 in the 80s. It'd be even weirder if you were playing Zelda and there's like an ad for a Pepsi.
So that's a good example right there. Would that ruin your experience, like playing a game like Zelda or like a fantasy style or fantasy setting? Would an ad for, I don't know, Trojan ruin your experience?
Yes.
It would definitely depend on the game, and there's certainly games I think it would work better with. But I think in general, I'd be willing to just fork over the price just to have the game and not have a bunch of ads thrown in my face.
Even though it'd be half or less than half of the price?
I don't feel that I buy enough new games in general for that to really be a big issue. I'm not buying like 10 or 12 or 20 games a year. I'm maybe buying like maybe one or two really at this point. So I certainly wouldn't mind just shelling out the money and just like get this crap out of my face. Just give me the game. Just give me the game. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we already see enough ads as it is every day. So yeah, okay. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I would definitely spend the extra money. One, for some reason, as soon as I read that question, I thought about a scene from Ready Player One, and it's like a small like side scene, like it's like somebody walking past the business room, and these guys are saying like, "Hey, we figured out a way to put just enough ads on the screen that it doesn't cause a seizure." And I'm like, so that's what I'm thinking. Is like it would start off like in my head, I already think like, oh yeah, this is great. And then as it progresses, it's just gonna get worse and worse up to the point where I'm like, what am I playing again? Like, what was the story? I just missed this. Like, what's going on? So I wouldn't like it at all. It would completely take me out of the experience all the time.
These ads would not pop up during gameplay, only if you pause, or they'd be out in the world depending on the type of game. They wouldn't just, hey, you want some Viagra? No, hey, come on.
I still wouldn't like it. The only advertisements I like, I mean, there are some in games right now, but it's like whenever we play Valorant and we see in the on one of the maps there's a billboard and it's like, hey, this weekend there's gonna be the big Valorant tournament. Watch this team and this team go at it at this. That's cool. Like you're promoting the game. You're promoting you're promoting an event. So like just like FIFA. If FIFA did that, like, hey, you can watch or be sure to watch the World Cup whenever that comes up. Stuff like that. That I would enjoy. Nothing like me pressing pause and getting an advertisement. I wouldn't like it at all. It would have to be something that was in general would be a direct line to the game. It's just another advertisement for the game or something that's built around that game that's showing an event or anything like that. But other than that, I would pay full price at all times and just play the game. Like Fancy said, just give me the game. I want to play the game.
What if?
To mention that, it reminds me. It's like think of like playing an RPG and you pull up your status screen and like you have a banner ad like taking up a quarter of the screen instead of all your status stuff.
Well, that would be worked out. It would be worked out, you know, in a smart way. They would have to obviously work those kinks out before they release that system. But yeah, Alan, what are your thoughts? Subsidized or full price, baby?
I'm going full price. As a person who pays for YouTube Premium and a person who just does not like ads in general, I just feel like it takes away from the game. Like I do agree with you where you said like in Fancy where if it works for the game, like GTA is a great game, a great example. Like you put it on a billboard, I don't mind that because it's in the background. I'm not like it's not thrown in my face. And if I remember correctly, I believe UFC, the EA Sports game, actually tried this, and it got not the way that you're saying it, where it would have been half price, but you paid for the game full price, and it was throwing ads like it was nothing, and they were
Yeah,
instantly took it back like a week after the game released and was like, yeah, we can't because everyone complained about it. And I feel
I
like
tried.
you give most people the option as long as it's not a like a $10 or $20 difference from what the original price. Like if it stayed $60 or $70, I feel like everyone would pay the full price. But if they were like, if you want no ads, you got to pay an extra $5, $10, then I think we people would
Dude,
start considering the ads.
no
You
ads
know what I mean?
DLC.
Exactly. So like I think if it works for the game, that'd be cool. But again, they're gonna try to throw in as much ads as they possibly can. We know it would go down such a like it would go down really quickly. Next thing you know, your car is driving and then like you don't want it in gameplay, but it's just gonna be like stuck there and then you just it's just something else you would have to deal with and switching it over. And like Fancy said with RPGs where you have to press start like or go to the menu title like plenty of times just to see what your character is doing and things like that. You would have to try to work a way around that also. I just don't see it. And especially because loading is so much faster now, it would at, it might not be a bad deal depending on, what the game is. Like, you know what I mean? So I personally would pay full price though. Get those ads out of my face. If I want to see it, I will look for it. Besides that, do not put ads in my video games. I just don't want it.
Black Magic says God of War hammer with a Nike check on the hilt. That'd be funny. That'd be funny to see. Speaking of Grand Theft Auto, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Obama was running for president, he actually had ads on the billboards in GTA. So
Mhm.
ads have been thrown in games every once in a while. We just probably didn't notice it. But the way that I'm saying is like live. They're live. They're updated. Can be different tomorrow if you want. For me personally, uh, just like with other topics we've talked about, I think this is also a slippery slope. Uh, but it could be a great option for people on a budget, either college students or, just young kids who have an allowance and can afford a $30, $20 game. Uh, but personally, I hate ads. I have ad blocker on my browser. So I can't remember the last time I seen an ad. It's awesome. It's beautiful. I would say it's a no for me for now because it does sound tempting, and I think with the right style of game, it could work out well. But if it's crammed into every game because the developers and publishers want to make more money, then I think they're just going to take full advantage, just like they did with UFC. And you know how greedy some of these publishers are; they don't give two craps. Uh, I would personally pay $70, and I would not like for this to be an everyday thing because they would take advantage of it
Yeah.
like that, and so yeah. So with that, let's go on to the next question. This one is: which super popular movies have you not seen? Why not? And does the fact that they're popular and everyone talks about them drive you away even further? Chris.
Be prepared to be judged by me.
That's what I don't want to. I don't want to say it then, man. Because I was sitting there at the table. I was literally with my laptop. I was sitting there at the table. I was looking at Bree, and I was like, one movie popped into my head immediately, and I was like, if I put this, I'm like, this is going to end me. All
Okay.
right, but
Say
I'm
it,
gonna do it.
Chris.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be vulnerable for you guys. All right.
We all are right now. We
Whatever
all are.
movie it is, Chris, I'm gonna come over and we're gonna watch it.
Yeah, well, for sure, I'm gonna watch. I gotta watch it before the new one comes out this year. That's a hint. All right. Yes. what is it called? But with that second part of the question, it's not because of people talk about it all the time. It's just something I just haven't seen. But Ghostbusters.
What?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You got fancy riled up.
I know.
Okay. All right. So, why haven't you seen it?
Shove this through the screen at you right now. It's like a mail slot.
I'm ordering it now. It's in my Amazon cart.
I'm sure he's got an explanation. Go ahead, Chris. You got it. You got to let us know. Come
It's
on.
just one of those movies that I just didn't get around to seeing. My like a lot of people don't. Yeah, Black Magic says well. My parents aren't from the U.S. Okay, so whenever people are like, "Oh, my parents took me to see this," my parents took me to see that. It was like I got like VHSs randomly at my house whenever I was younger. Even with Star Wars, one of my favorite things ever. I had to find myself. Like I started with Phantom Menace, and I didn't know that I watched Phantom Menace over and over and over again. I didn't know there was prequels or anything like that. So until I got over it, made friends, and they were like, "Hey man, this is like a whole series." And it's like, "Oh, okay." And then I started getting into it. So it's the same thing with Ghostbusters. It just never came around. I remember going to see what was it? It was a date night. Bree was working at the movie theater, so movies were free. We were just watching movies randomly. So I went and watched the female cast of Ghostbusters, and that was about it. I mean, I've played the game. I've seen clips. I listened, like, so it's definitely on my list. Like even even last year around Halloween, it played in our break room, and I mentioned it to my fireworks crew, and everybody turned around. They're like, "Get out of the room." And I was like, "Okay, sorry. All right, see ya." But I am gonna watch it. It's on my list, just like whenever I told you guys Lord of the Rings. I don't remember that as a kid, so I was just gonna watch all those. But Ghostbusters was actually something on my list that I'm gonna watch through because the new one is coming out, and yeah, I need to watch it because it is the clips that I've seen a lot of bits and pieces of it, and every time I see it, I'm like, man, I really need to sit down and just watch from beginning to end because I like what I see all the time. So
And it's also referenced so much.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
there any other that you would like to confess? I have three. So
So Lord of the Rings, which I feel like that's not too big of one.
Huh?
Right? For me not watching, like that's as much as a heartbreak as Ghostbusters.
yeah.
Is that-
Listen, Lord of the Rings might be Lord of the Rings, this is tough. Like, not seeing Lord of the Rings in a modern day setting is kind of like, that's kind of big.
Oh my God.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
that's
Okay.
another
So,
one.
any others? Do you have any others? What we got? Ghostbusters and Lord of the Rings.
Name something else big.
Uh,
From that, like, from. Say again?
Have you ever seen Big?
No.
Oh, the
Tom
movie
Hanks?
Big.
Tom Hanks, okay.
Have you seen Castaway? That's a big one.
I love that movie.
Well, yes, yeah, I have. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, what? That was a
Okay.
Castaway. Yeah, Bree has not, but I have.
Any
So-
of the diehards.
Yes, I've seen Die Hard. As
Haven't you?
Black Magic says once Yandy lists his, I feel like I'm gonna have to unfollow on every platform. Yeah, mine are pretty bad. Wait till you see that.
I already know. I already know.
okay,
Yenny,
you guys
so.
can name yours off, and then I'll
Alright,
jump in
go-
and I'll
go
tell you like,
ahead.
oh, I haven't seen that either. So yeah, we'll go ahead.
Go ahead, Fancy. Tell us your sins.
Okay. Well, first I'll say because Chris, you're 27, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
Roughly 27?
So I'm not like it was in my. I feel like it was in my range. Like that, I have no excuse for missing out on that.
You've had time.
Ghostbusters because like you were born after it was already like because for me I was huge into Ghostbusters because like the cartoon was still going on when I was a kid. I had all the
great
toys.
cartoon.
I have the firehouse up in my attic right now. So I was huge. I got into Ghostbusters through the cartoon and before I ever saw the movies.
So good.
I can kind of get that. I'm not gonna flog you for that.
I will.
I'm here living for Alan's facial expressions. Just in this
At every
You
show.
both.
Every show.
I might have to get that as a picture because you both were like, like, what? And I knew, I'm telling you, man, my heart was beating as we were going down the list. I literally just have the word Ghostbusters in my notes, and I'm sitting there with Brie. I'm like, man, this is gonna suck.
I mean, have you seen you watch Zombieland though, right?
Yeah. So whenever he gets to that part where he's like, who you gonna call, and he's like, you're about to learn who you gonna call and all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah.
And you didn't know.
I know. I got what I understand. I understand references.
know.
I've seen the clips and stuff like that, but like, I just haven't
You
seen
didn't
the
want to
full
go
movie
watch
in
it
entirety.
immediately after that, like
Nah.
you didn't want to...
All right. Let's have Fancy tell us.
Well,
Go ahead.
see, here's the thing: is I got to that question on the list, and I immediately thought of Alan as well, just because, like, in person, we were always in person. Like, Alan just had this reaction. I used to just almost troll him with this in real life because he always just go, "What?" That was the thing. What?
Yeah.
And so I read that question. I immediately just heard that in my head. I'm like, "Yep, this is the segment for Alan to just yell what at all
Yeah.
of us."
You can't judge all. Yep, exactly.
And he's probably already whatted me on this one in person. It's the Matrix. All of the Matrices.
I recently watched those actually last year, a couple months ago. It was on HBO Max, and I'm like, I'm gonna go through all of them, and I liked one.
All of them suck after one. But
I liked a
one
little bit of
is-
two, and then three, I was like, okay, I don't know what's going. Yeah, but anyway.
What else you got?
Yeah.
All of those. I have not seen a Marvel movie since Age of Ultron.
Dang, you're behind. I thought I was bad.
But there was one movie, I don't remember which one it is, Fancy, but there's a movie that it wasn't like the Marvel stuff I understand. It was a movie that was right up your alley, and I was like, I just couldn't believe that you hadn't
I got
seen
one,
it.
I got
And
one that will stump Alan too.
I don't remember which one it is though.
I wish you were what it was. I don't know if I know what.
But
Yeah.
Alan,
I don't
Alan
remember.
just has that presence. I will say this: Alan has that presence because I remember Sarah saying, "What was it that she hasn't? She didn't watch. She's never seen something. It was some kind of movie, and then she's like, oh yeah, I've seen it, and then she kind of watched it like as the conversation was coming up, just so she wouldn't be judged about it. I can't remember what it was. But for me, another one is V for Vendetta.
I've never seen that one either.
I haven't seen that either.
What is going on here?
I knew that one was gonna get it because I was like, yeah, this is like
for the you know
Yeah.
for the
Fancy,
viewer
do you have
audience.
any others? Or is that it?
I've never seen the Hobbit movies.
That's
Oh,
okay.
wow, okay.
Those
Those
are-
are-
I've
I
read
love
the
them.
book. I've read
I love them.
I've read the Lord of the Rings. I've seen all the Lord of the Rings.
That's enough.
Shut up, Alan.
What else? I don't know if there's anything else that would get a reaction from Alan other than whatever it is he remembered me saying before that I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember it was a movie, and I was just like, wow. It was really shocking because I was like, that's like a movie that was like right up your alley, and I can't think of it. I know I'm gonna find it after the show, and then I'll text you. But I know I can't think of it off the top of my head.
It'll come to you. So, for me, dang it.
you good,
I
man?
have three. Yeah, man. It's like a. I don't know what's going on in there.
And I will say,
So I
guys,
have-
this week
I
I
have
have 8 weeks. I have 8 days off, and I'm gonna watch Ghostbusters. I will.
Oh, you are gonna watch.
I'm going to
Ghostbusters.
watch it.
You
So
Yes,
now
you are.
that most of our viewers have left, I can safely.
Oh
say
no, we
my
got
three.
5 now, son.
He is
Go ahead.
solid.
5. I see 2. What are you talking about? Anyways, here we go. Okay, so Henry Potter. Okay, haven't seen any Henry Potter.
Okay, I've never even
Harry
heard
Potter.
of that. Oh,
Oh,
What? What the hell's Henry Potter? You're an idiot.
That's worse than like a D's nuts joke, man. Oh my god.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah, I haven't seen any Harry Potter. Not because. Okay, so the second part of that question, if something becomes super mainstream and super popular, it actually drives me away from it even further because I'm like, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, but shut the hell up. I don't care.
Well, then you
Be
working
quiet.
at the palace
You know,
probably did it. to be
Expialidocious bullshit. Get that out of here. Okay. So I don't hate the movie. I hate the. See, there I go, saying that word again. You know,
Mhm.
I hate the culture around it, and it drives me away from watching it. But I did try. I did try one time to start the series. I just could not get into it. I couldn't tell you exactly what that reason was. I just couldn't do it. I do want to do it eventually. I want to try to have Avery watch it with me. Maybe that'll help. Maybe I can sit through it and something will catch my attention. So yeah, Harry Potter. Never seen it. Okay, this one is big. This one's real big, and I know I'll get a lot of shit for this one. I have never seen any of the Godfather movies.
No, I've
Go
seen.
ahead, chat. Alan left.
I'm gonna say.
yeah.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
I've seen the first one. I can't remember it though.
I've never seen it. I only
Oh well, then
I only just recently watched Scarface, which is another big one that
I've
people
never
are like,
seen
hey,
Scar.
I've never
well,
seen
like,
it.
hey, you're Cuban. Aren't you supposed to know what the movie is?
I mean,
Right?
Scarface.
You know?
Rewatching Scarface is pretty problematic though. But
Yeah. So yeah, I've
that's a
never seen
different
that either.
conversation.
But the third is the series, and that is the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Jason Bourne series.
I don't
Never
think
seen
that's.
that.
I don't think that's bad.
No, but it was a huge movie at the time. It was a huge series too.
I feel like you get a bigger reaction saying I've never seen a Mission Impossible.
I have
Yeah.
seen Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see,
There are actually a lot of movies I've never seen that I can't even begin to list. Like if you guys go down the list, I'll tell you the truth. But there have been a lot of movies I haven't seen only because I'm not a movie person. I'm not a TV show person. I'd rather spend that time playing games. Or
I've never seen a James
being
Bond
outside.
movie.
James Bond. I have seen James
No,
Bond.
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Yep.
I've seen a couple.
So, yeah. So
This
that
question's
being
gonna be
said-
hard for Alan because Alan is like an encyclopedia on movies.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. So, Alan, the movie buff, movie master. What movies have you never seen?
So
super-
I don't know. Like, there's no movie.
I know you told me you've never seen Shaving Privates Ryan's
That's not
Privates.
true.
Never seen
Well,
Shaving Privates.
No, I've
I'm
seen that
reporting
and
you
the
on
other
the Twitch.
movie.
Don't do it, Black Magic.
And then the real movie you're talking about. But honestly, I can't think of a super popular movie that I haven't seen. Like,
Okay, we'll just go
and
with one. We'll go with one that you like. You can't remember at all. Like you know you saw it, but you really cannot. Like I don't remember anything.
I'm doing a
What
Google
about
search right now.
Say
Huh?
again.
What about classic movies? Have you seen Citizen
I've
Kane? Have you
seen-
seen
yep.
Ash?
yep.
Top
It's a
100
Wonderful
greatest movies of all time. Okay, Stand By Me,
What? Of course, I've seen Stand By Me.
Raging
love-
Bull,
Yes.
A Quickfire, Goonies,
Goonies.
Oh,
I've
come
seen.
on. I have
Oh,
a
that's
Goonies
a
shirt
big
in my
one.
closet.
Titanic,
You do.
Of course, I've
Seen
seen
it.
the Titanic.
Good Will Hunting,
Yes.
Seen it.
Oscar award winning.
Arrival.
Yes, I love
newer
it.
one.
That's
Love
an
that movie.
underrated movie.
Wait, what?
Yes.
100 top movies of all time. So Arrival, like the recent Arrival, like 2016.
yeah.
Arrival?
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Lost in Translation.
Yes.
No, Bill Murray. That's a good movie. The Princess Bride. This is stupid. I know you've seen that one. I don't know anybody who hasn't seen it. You've seen The Terminator, The Prestige.
Oh, what? Listen, that's a Nolan classic right there. It might be one of his
Never
best
heard
movies.
of it. The Prestige.
The Prestige with Hugh
Wow.
Jackman and Christian Bale. Great. They're magicians. It also came out around the same time as The Illusionist with Edward Norton.
The Exorcist.
Horror
All right,
movies?
all right.
Come on, bro.
You've seen Predator. Obviously, you've seen Indiana Jones. It's a sin if you don't watch Indiana Jones. Rocky. You've seen that.
It's gonna be hard.
You've seen Spirited Away.
Oh, duh.
Toy Story, obviously.
Karate
Clockwork
Kid.
Orange.
Of course, I love Karate Kid.
No, I'm
And if you're
asking.
not
I'm
watching
asking
Cobra
Yendi.
Kai, you
Yendi, have
should.
you seen KarateId?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
You've seen the next Karate Kid.
I've
Oh.
No. Have I don't know. Is that a thing?
yes,
Yeah,
it depends.
Corey Plank is the kid. Is the Karate Kid.
And then you have another Karate Kid with the one with Will Smith's son and Jackie Chan.
Like you said, you probably seen them all. So, is
I-
there
Very
really
Brady
no
sequel.
movie?
The very Brady sequel? No. There you go.
There you go. Got one. Yeah.
The thing is with me, I'll be
Here, get
honest,
out.
and the reason why this question's a hard one for me is because I do enjoy movies, and I actually have gone back to watch. I mean, I've gone so far as even going to like watching all the best pictures of every Oscar that has like happened. Like I forgot what number we're on 93, I think, but I've watched like best picture from the first Oscar to pretty much now. Like so I do keep up with movies on even the movies I don't want to watch like Fast and Furious. But
Speaking of which, I gotta watch
just-
Parasites though. That was on my list for the longest
Parasite's
time.
amazing. But
I
there's
watched that
no
movie. That movie was ass.
what?
Parasite was
You
ass.
take it back. Take it back.
No, I'm not taking back. I doubled
Take
down
it
on
back.
it. It was ass. I thought it was a horror movie.
No.
It
See,
was
that's your
okay.
problem.
It was okay at best. It was okay at best. Okay.
Is it
I didn't
about
mind reading subtitles. I didn't mind, huh?
Is it about an ass parasite? Is that the
No.
kind of parasite it is?
I would have rather seen that. I would have rather seen a parasite go somebody's ass. You know?
Oh, so you want to watch
Uh,
Human Centipede? Is what you're saying?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that.
You
You
don't
haven't seen the
I,
Human Centipede?
I
Don't
haven't seen
watch
that.
it.
I don't think
I
anybody.
can't even
needs to watch
recommend
it,
that with a
yeah.
straight
Alright.
face.
So, someone send me Yandy's address. You're not getting my address.
I got
so
you.
let's go ahead and move on to the show theme because we are running low on time and don't want to keep fancy for too much longer. So let's try to keep these a little brief if you can. I mean, I understand if you prepared something. So the show theme for tonight is basically telling us what your fondest gaming memory is. What game was it? Why was it so special? And what was that moment that really stuck with you? So I'll go first since I haven't gone first yet. I have two games for this. The first one is, as you can probably predict if you watched the show before, Morrowind. Exploring that alien world is awesome. The game is special because it was an escape for me during a time where I was going through some stuff in life. You know, I was young and, you know, just having parental stuff going on. And this game was that perfect escape. It was the game that made me fall in love with RPGs again, and my first true open world game that actually gave me the freedom to do what I wanted. And that was so awesome to be able to do in a game back in the original Xbox days, because back then there weren't really many open world games. Morrowind was one of the first to do it on console as well. It was a PC release, but for consoles there really wasn't anything that big. So yeah, it just the the world, the the mystery behind, you know, every character and building and area was unmatched at the time. The openness was awesome. So Morrowind is one of those games for me. And my fondest memory with that is finishing the game after I think over 1,000 hours. Like I would just mess around and not even finish the main story, and I didn't want to finish the main story because I didn't want to be done with it. I wanted to
Yeah.
always come back to it whenever I could. But that was one of my fondest memories, finishing it finally. I feel like I completed something very important in my life, like I felt accomplished. The second game was Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4. Uh, and that was the first game in a long time that I actually fully completed my very first platinum trophy on PlayStation ever, which is rare because I can barely sit down for more than 4 hours at a time to finish a campaign, much less focus on a story. Because the story has to really capture me early on, and it has to keep me going. Because if it doesn't, I just get bored, especially with so many games nowadays that we have. Uh, Part of the reason that game got me so good was because of Aloy and how badass a character she was, and just she was so cool, and I kind of understood her story, her struggle, and her. I watched her grow up, and it was really cool to see that. And then, as well as just like in Morrowind, the world was beautiful. The story was innovative. It was really unique for the time. There was nothing like it out at the time. You know, post-apocalyptic robot dinosaurs. Like, what the heck? That's cool, and you can ride them and stuff. But yeah, it was super innovative, and my fondest memory of that was again getting that last trophy to get that final platinum, and I just had this relief come over me, like I'm done. I'm done. I didn't want to be done, but I finished it. So yeah, those are my two games. Fancy. What are yours?
Okay, well, I have one that's like really formative, but not necessarily positive. But it's one that's always kind of stuck with me. Is one of the earliest things I remember about the perils of gaming. I remember when I was very little, I would go to a babysitter sometime. I would just stay at their house with their three kids, and they had games I'd never played before. I think that was the first time I ever saw Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, and I didn't really. I'd never played a game that saved your progress before. I don't know if you remember back on the NES, if you had a battery backed memory game, if you had to hold in the reset button while you turn the power off. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't think I
Uh-oh.
realized how I had made this mistake until maybe years later. All I know is I remember I played Zelda, I turned off the game, and suddenly one of the kids, her name was Erin, I think, it was just crying, just like bawling because I had deleted her Legend of Zelda save file just by turning off the console.
Oh no.
I didn't even know how I did it. Like, I was like 4 years old. Yeah. But I felt really terrible about that, and I have felt terrible in the intervening 30+ years since then, and so gaming ruined my life. I hate gaming.
So that was one of your fondest memories, is ruining her life.
Okay, my fondest memories. Okay, sorry. Uh, the like the first time I ever played Super Mario RPG. It was the first role playing game I had ever played in my entire life. And there was this moment when you meet your first party member besides Mario. You meet Mallow. He had his coin stolen from this crocodile guy, and he asked Mario to help get it back. And it gives you an option. You can either agree to it or say no. And it is one of those where you have to say yes ultimately. But if you say no, he starts crying. And I had never encountered anything like that before. I'd played mostly platformers. You know, you run to the right, you jump on enemies, but I'd never encountered an emotion before. I'd never seen a character in a game feel things, and I'd never played an RPG before. And that always, I remember being at Thanksgiving and trying to explain this to my uncle, and I'm sure he didn't give a rat's ass about that. I was like 9 or 10 years old, saying, "Man, the little frog guy starts crying," and he's like, "Yeah, whatever." But it really had a big impact on me, and I really got into RPGs after that because suddenly it was like, "Oh man, you can tell a story with this." And I'd never even considered the fact that you could really tell a story with video gaming until I made that little puffball cry because I told him no because I was mean.
Okay, yeah, it's like one of those enlightenment moments when you realize gaming is a lot bigger than you thought. So, yeah, Chris.
For me, I also have two. My first one would be Sly Cooper was a big deal for me as a kid. That was back when my dad would only allow me to get one game a year. So it had to be a game that I could replay. I always got one on my birthday, and the Sly Cooper series was something I got into. All the rest of the games I ever played, I went to a friend's house and we always played over there. But that game, I just remember going through the second one specifically, not the first one. That was like my first kind of, I guess it wasn't open world, but each level was really open. Like you ran around, you were trying to. I liked the whole story of you being a thief, and it had like a treasure hunt feel to it also throughout. And you just had you and your friends Bentley and Murray with you, and it was a lot of fun having your friends have your back, and then also having like their special abilities. Like Bentley was the tech guy, Murray was the strong guy, and Sly could get on top of buildings and do everything like that. So it was a lot of fun playing that game. I love that game so much. That was actually on my next thing on my list to replay, because after the Jack and Daxter series, I was like, I need to go back through Sly Cooper. But yeah, I remember spending so many hours in that game. I just kept replaying and replaying and replaying. I would go all the way through, restart it. That was the only game to this day that I think... actually, no. Undertale did that too. Where I could actually get to the end of the game, see rolling credits start, and then play all throughout it again, like in the same day. So Undertale did the same thing where I got to the end, saw credits, went straight back and did it again, because I enjoyed it that much. My other one is Halo 3. That was a game that I learned what grounding was because I would stay up till 5 in the morning with my friends on Forge trying to make like mazes and stuff. We didn't even play multiplayer. We were those guys that made mazes and tried to upload
You
it.
mean like being grounded?
Yeah, being grounded. Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay,
yeah,
okay.
like my dad would come in and he would like literally just hear like I'd have like the little green headset in, and be like, all right, you know, just trying to whisper, and he'd come in, turn it off, unplug it, and take it, and then I wouldn't see it.
That was worse.
Yeah, but like I'd be up late, and then I would sleep in until like gamer hours. Like you sleep in till like 1 or 2, wake up, do it again. He had me like as a punishment. He would take the 360, and I would wake up every day at 9. And then my body got used to that. Like 9 a.m. You're awake, get outside. And it's like, okay. So, but all the time that I spent with my friends on that game, all the fun I had, even like recently, we went back and Bungie still has my records, and it's like, I think it's like 2 hours in multiplayer, and then it's like this amount of hours in Forge, and it's like, what were you guys doing? It's just like we're just building weird pyramids, getting outside the map, trying to break the game basically all the time. So that one was a very fun memory, and that was also my first online experience, like my first online game. Getting Xbox 360, my dad finally let me like, okay, yeah, you can play online with your friends. Go ahead. So yeah, means a lot.
I have very fond memories of Halo 2. I would play tournaments at work, and I got in trouble. Yeah, this was a long time ago. But anyways,
I know that
Alan,
story.
Alan, tell us about your game or games.
My fondest game memory, I did mention it, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, but it's Metal Gear Solid, and the first one for PlayStation. It was literally when I realized, I had the same moment that Fancy had, where I was just like, there's so much more to gaming that I never knew about. Because like I always loved Mario, like Mario 3 was my favorite, but Metal Gear was the one game that like it told this epic story that I didn't know video games could tell, but it also just had all these groundbreaking things that I would have never thought was in a video game. Actually, they don't even have them still to this day, and that game was made in 96. I'll never forget because I got that game. It was rated M. I shouldn't have been playing it at the time, but my uncle at the time had let me play it for my PlayStation, and I was just blown away by, like I said, things like when you smoke a cigarette, it took away your life in the game, but it also showed lasers. So like things like that in that game just were so like groundbreaking with the Psycho Mantis fight. Like he was a psychic, so you literally had to change your controller to port 2 in order for him to stop reading your mind. So like the things that happened in that game were just like amazing. The CD case thing where they were like, you got to look at the back of your CD case, and you're like, back of the CD case, and you thought it meant in game, but he actually meant in real life. Like you really had to look at the back of the CD case, and you could see the codec code for Meryl, which I'll never forget, is 14145, I think. But like that's also one of those games that I can recite that game from the beginning to the end, like the dialogue. I played that game and that was also my introduction to alternate endings, because in that game, if you did, there was the torture scene in that game. If you've done it, basically, if you quit early, it changes the ending, and if you survive it the whole time, it changes the ending. And then it also gave you in-game rewards for it, because if you did it one way, you got a special ability, and if you did it the other way, you got another one. So Metal Gear is like by far the game that literally changed my like whole perspective on what a video game can be, and I hold every game to Metal Gear. Like, can it capture me like Metal Gear does? And it still hasn't happened. But
all I'm thinking about is like somebody buys the game used in one of like the normal black cases, like it doesn't have anything, and then you're just like, look at the back of the case, you're like,
yeah. So the funny thing about that, right? So at the time when you play that game, and you would think like, at the time when you did that, if you didn't look at the case, if you went forward to the elevator, it did the call for you, but you don't know that at the time, and I didn't know that as a kid. So like literally, I spent, I don't even know, probably like 2 weeks not playing the game, like just trying to figure out what I was doing, and not going into the elevator. So like I just was like, oh, I can't get to the elevator unless I do this part. So like for 2 weeks, and then I'll never forget the day I figured it out. I was one day just looking at the instruction manual, like because games used to have that back
I
in the
miss
day.
those, man. I honestly do
Yeah.
miss the instruction manuals.
Yeah, so we don't get those anymore. But I
Yeah.
was looking at the instruction manual, and I was literally just thinking in my head. I was like, "Yo, what? How do you do this?" And we didn't have internet. Like we had internet, but you know what I mean. Like it wasn't what it is now. So you couldn't just look up a guide or anything. And the guides were like $20 back then, if you guys remember. And then I was just like, "Man, what is it?" And then one day, I literally like the case was just flipped over because I threw it, and I was mad, and I looked at the back and I went, "Oh no." And like I immediately ran to the game, turned it on, and was like, "I got it." And that's like ever since then, I've never felt like that feeling from that game has never been replicated since then.
Yeah, I remember reading reviews on that video for GameStop, and it sounded crazy to me that that game was like ahead of its time, essentially.
Way
so
ahead
cool
of its
that
time.
They used in real life stuff, but definitely a good choice. All right, well, we have reached the end of our show. I want to thank Fancy here for joining us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you having you on. It was nice having different opinions. Really cool.
This was a fun show. I like this one a lot.
Yeah. So just once again, please make sure you're following us on Twitch here. Once we get to 50, we will do a free mouse giveaway. The giveaway itself is free. You have to pay for the mouse. I'm just kidding.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Follow us here, and you could have a chance at winning a mouse. We have reached that goal on YouTube, so awesome. Thank you for that. We appreciate the support. Just 2 more people here on Twitch, and then we will start that. Make sure to follow us on Twitter to get notifications where we're going live, or just to hang out and talk. Also, make sure to check out our videos. We put out new original content every Friday on our YouTube. We don't have a dedicated URL yet, but once we get there, we'll let you know. But all the links are here in the description under our link tree. So if you want to use your phone to scan that QR code, it'll take you to everything that we have set up. So once again, thank you, Fancy. Do you want to tell everybody about your YouTube channel and what you do over there real quick once again, so people can maybe check you out?
Sure. And thank you for having me on the show. I had a really great time, and I would love to do it again if you ever feel the need a 4th person again.
100%.
We will.
But yeah, on YouTube, I'm MistareFusion. It's like Mister, only weird because I can't do anything normal. It's like the Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future. Anybody get? You've all seen Back to the Future, right? Are we going back to the questions?
Yeah, we've all seen it. It's better.
MistareFusion, MiStare. And I do a lot of stuff. I primarily do a series called Dragon Ball Dissection, where I've been analyzing mostly the Dragon Ball manga for like the past 9 years of my life. I also do a series called the All New Mighty Morphin Jew Rangers, which is a sort of comparison analysis between Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Super Sentai series that it was adapted from. And so I put out a new video every other Monday, and I've been doing this for over a decade now, and it's a lot of fun. So feel free to check me out if you feel so inclined.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
We will put a link to the channel and your socials in this chat video, and then we'll put it in the YouTube video that we release tomorrow. So once again, if you guys didn't get a chance to watch us live today, this will be out tomorrow on YouTube and also on podcast that Alan takes care of. So yeah, do we have any closing thoughts? Are you guys good?
No, I just want to say thank you, Fancy, for joining us, and I miss you, and anytime we need a 4th, you'll definitely be asked to come. So
yeah, we have a great list of guests so far, and we're glad to have you added to that list. So with that being said, thank you everybody who joined us tonight, and we will see you guys next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Last Place Fire Team out.